Alright, boys and girls. I think today is finally the day. Got Buster here, chilling, literally chilling. This is actually a pretty cool little technique I figured out. I mean, maybe other people do it. If you stick a hose, you know, right here, there's a plastic piece that goes under this that helps channel, I guess, rainwater away or something. But it actually does a good job of, like, it just spreads it over the intercooler and the radiator. Does a great job of cooling the car off when it's hot and heat soaked. I'm hopefully going to be able to test out my water meth system today. I've been chasing problems left and right with Buster in the tune. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Like, I haven't had a bunch of time in the last week or two to like keep babysitting the car. Like today I finally have time, but it's just hot as hell. So I've been like back and forth with going over logs and tunes and stuff, trying to figure this out, chasing my tail, and I haven't figured it out yet. So I can't wait any longer. I got to get content on the channel, but it shouldn't interfere with what I want to do today, which is hopefully not have any problems this time around testing the water methanol system, because if you remember, last time I tried doing this happened. Hey, what's going on? And it was all because of this right here, this check valve. Not to say that there's anything wrong with using one of these, except you need, like, if you're gonna use it with 4 nozzles like this, you need a check valve with a higher cracking pressure. This obviously was probably fine for 1 nozzle, but 4, no. Not doing the work I needed to do. It was siphoning, you know, fluid into the engine when at idle, when it was drawing, you know, peak vacuum. So I replaced this with this. You see I got a solenoid in here now. It's all wired up. I redid the harness, so it uses the same harness. So it comes over here, it gets power. I added a little fuse here for the power to the solenoid in the harness. It's got a 2 amp fuse in it. The solenoid, I think it's rated to only draw like 1.2 amps max or something like that. So 2 amp fuse in there should do the trick. Everything now is wired in, ready to go. I have yet to test it, you know, because I've been chasing all these other problems going on with the car in between. Today's the day we're gonna try it out. So there's a couple things I need to do real quick. I just need to double check. I know all my fittings up here are good, but I don't remember if I tightened the fitting down here to the pump from the tank. I just want to make sure I didn't forget to do this and have this end up leaking. Okay, now it's tight, good. I wasn't sure, just wanted to be sure. All right, cool. So now I can open this up and get our tank opened up here. So here's the bottle of, it's a premix of this stuff and distilled water. This has been sitting because when I first tried doing this, I had to empty the tank. So just in case, I know like methanol likes to evaporate. So just in case there was some evaporation, I'm gonna just up the methanol mix here. And yes, heat is mostly methanol. There is some other additives in here, but it is mostly methanol. So for testing purposes, it will work great. So it's gonna be definitely over a 50% mix of methanol with adding these 2 bottles. So, but I wanted it to be a little bit more potent. I'd rather have the extra octane just in case anything goes wonky. Cool. Just gonna give this a little shake and mix it all up. All right, now I can go ahead and pour this in our tank. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. I'm getting pretty good at pouring. Pretty damn good. All right, there she is. Pop her cap back on our tank. I think we're ready to roll, hopefully. turn Buster's soaking bath off here. It's cooling bath. Now help keep IATs reasonable. It's like over 90 degrees today. Before I continue, actually, I think I mentioned this before, but for some clarity, this solenoid is a normally closed solenoid. For anyone who may not be familiar with that term, it's basically closed until it gets power and then it opens up. Because you can get them either way. You can get normally closed or normally open. Meaning when they get power, then they shut. This one stays shut until it gets power, then it will open up. So what that means is there's a trigger wire going from the AEM controller that's basically a ground trigger to the solenoid. It's got constant power, but it will only operate if it gets that ground trigger. So that's how that works. Hopefully that will stop any siphoning of fluid at idle. So I want to go ahead and double check the controller. For now, I haven't found a permanent mounting point for it yet, so it's just kind of hanging out back here. But I have it set to start injection at, should be a little bit under 20 PSI. And then it goes all the way to 40. It's a progressive controller, so I hope what that means is, because it's never going to reach 40 PSI, that it will, you know, operate at a lower duty cycle, therefore lower flow as I'm testing. So we'll see how that works. And we should be good to go. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I was nervous. So fire up Buster. Everything's working. Yes, AC is hot as hell. Whew. So I'm gonna let it idle a minute because it was idling like a minute last time as I was talking in the video, and then it started being weird. So I'm gonna bring up a log. I am curious to know, like for me, I wanna see two things happen if this system engages properly. I wanna see fueling, rich, and I wanna see no knock. Two things I'm hoping for. So far, so good. Car's idling. It's not anything weird. I think we're good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get moving here. I'm basically just going down the road, and I'm gonna do a pull coming back and immediately coming back and checking for leaks. I feel like I'd be a fool not to do that. So just full disclaimer, Buster's not running the hottest right now. Like I said, still have some tuning issues that I'm trying to chase behind the scenes. So the only thing I care about in this video, like I said, if the system is operating correctly with no leaks, and if it's aiding to knock suppression and to my fueling, because it will be a source of fuel to help combat some of the lean areas I get with the stock fuel system. So yeah, see what happens. But thankfully, it seems like the solenoid has fixed their siphoning problem. So that was a good call there. All right, so I got the system activated. So let's see if it operates as it should. Man, I'm nervous. All right, let's see what happens. I can definitely tell it's getting fuel and it's running rich. It's working because it's got little pops and bangs now. So it's definitely getting fuel. I just wonder how that looks on the log. The car felt a little bit better, but if I have the controller set right, it should only be adding a little bit. And my boost isn't really high enough to right now to justify it. So I just want to see the effects of it and make sure the system is working properly until I get everything else ironed out. But I'm about to pull in the driveway now, and just want to make sure that there are no leaks. Everything is good. All right, so let's get under the hood here and take a look. I made sure everything was nice and tight. So it's checking for leaks, No, hey, we're all dry. All right. Wow, that actually went better than I thought. So, I guess now, since the system is verifiably working and not leaking, I suppose I need to see how the car responded to it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the log, shall we? All right, fellas, here's the log. And I'm actually very excited to see what I'm seeing. So, I had it set, somewhere probably around 17, 18 PSI on the dial. Look here, this is really cool. So, lately, with the amount of ethanol I've been running, it's really taxing the fuel system. I've been doing a lot of things to try to combat this, and, you know, there's only so much you can do other than upgrading your fuel system. This was one of the areas when boost comes in, it does, you know, hit a little bit of a spike, right? 4,200 RPM, we hit 23 PSI of boost. It would be on a little bit of a leaner side when this happens. And it's usually above a 0.8 lambda, which it's not terrible. You can get away with it with direct injected engines. I would like to be either in the high 7s or right at 0.8, nothing too much higher. And sometimes it was getting higher, especially when the boost spikes are closer to 26 or so PSI, which in the hotter revisions I have, it will hit once I get things ironed out. So if you see here, it's commanding 0.72, which it's really got to be less. Like I said, things recently are all screwed up with the tune and its fueling. This should be about like a 0.77, no less. Like that's my commandant lambda, but there's some other things active that need to be not active to help combat this. But all I care about is this number right here, this yellow number. This is what the O2 sensor is reading. It's reading 0.76 at 23 PSI, where that would normally be a lot higher. So that's good. I know it's aiding fueling there. So another really important piece of information here is what the hell is the spark doing? Because the NOC octane modifier is not 100%, there still could be some timing left on the table. We can see here, I start the pool. That red line in the background is my RPM. These lines right here are each cylinder, and it's the blue line at the bottom is actually the NOC retard. So if we look, every cylinder but cylinder 2, which that's a whole nother problem that I think I have with the car. I'll get to that in another video, because it actually kind of sucks seeing that. But the important thing is overall, NOC retard, -6, -1.1, and it stays that way, which means it's the NOC sensors are happy, the car's adding timing, which I noticed the max timing that it added, which really surprised me, was, let's see, 10 degrees of timing, where it would normally be like 5 or 6, because the car's knocking back so much timing due to the NOC retard. So it's helping. It's doing what I want it to do. Wow, imagine that. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, look, intake air temp is 91 degrees. So that's crazy. And unfortunately, I have no way of measuring air temps because the water map is post map sensor. So the only way to know exactly how much it could be cooling is if you measured the EGTs. That's the only way I could probably figure out a difference in temperature with and without it. But yeah, I'm still crazy that I'm seeing this -2.9 on cylinder 2. I'll make another video talking about that because that's crazy. But so far, so good. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and I'm happy. Well, there you have it. Buster's on the right path, hopefully. I do want to check and see if I can visibly see how much fluid it used in that little short period, because that is, you know, not a concern, but definitely something I'm curious about, is how much this is going to use, how quickly it's going to use it, and how quickly I'm going to have to, like, keep up on the, you know, level here. But it don't look too bad. It's used only a little bit. So my My assumption is that I could probably, like, when this thing is set up to go full tilt, it would probably get, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a metric to explain this in, maybe like 2-3 quarter-mile passes until the tank needs to be refilled, I guess. I guess I would have to actually make a quarter-mile hit and, you know, measure. But either way, not really concerned about that right now. The fact that it's working, man, that makes me happy. And that nothing's leaking, and I can see the potential. I see the potential once I get the tuning figured out. And there's definitely going to be, like, now that I have this on the car, and it's going to be aiding fueling, I'm probably going to start making, like, once I get this tuning thing, I know I've said this so many times, you're like, Kirk, just shut the hell up. When I get the tuning figured out, I'm probably going to make some adjustments to the wastegate actuator arm, pull it back just a little bit more, see if I can coax a little bit more boost out of it. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting because, you know, we're now entering into a different realm of power potential, but equally frightening as hell, because the harder I push the car, then, you know, there's always the opportunity for something bad to happen. We'll just have to, you know, be careful. That's why I'm just like, anymore, I'm taking my time. It sucks because my channel's taking a hit, not having any content coming on, but I'm just glad I had time today to whip up this video and get it out, because Lord knows I need it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. I know it's been like over a week, almost 2 weeks now since my last upload, and, you know, we're starting to get back into some serious content, though some goofy content is in the works, as usual. You know me. So let me know what you think about the whole thing, and if you liked the video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up, share with everyone to know. Want to see more content like this, and you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout for the next Karz Kreated video.